Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, Out of Ammo, Out of Time. I'm your host as always, Krabby Terror 8, and here we are in episode 38. Yes, episode 38 of the Investigator Games, very close to episode 40 of this season, which is amazing that we've come so far. But it has been a few years, so maybe it's taken longer than I ever imagined, but we're still here, playing the Investigator Games, and this week it's everybody's favourite Innsmouth conspiracy survivor, Stella Clark, the letter carrier, yes. And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome! Yes, what is the Investigator Games? Well, it's like the Squid Games and the Hunger Games. You take each investigator true solo through a scenario. Now, in Season 1, we took every investigator through the Gathering. And in Season 2, we will take them through the Midnight Masks. And we see how they go. Now, depending on how they go, they end up in a league table like this one. Yes, everybody from top to bottom. We can see there's quite a lot here, quite a lot to read. The main things to see there are, of course, that Leo and Roland are topping the table. Ashcan Pete's up there too. And way down in the bottom, Calvin. Yes, poor old Calvin is sitting, languishing at the bottom of the table. Not surprising, I guess. So yes, now these are the points from the carryover season, so with the Gathering. So I would really recommend that if you haven't seen the Gathering scenarios, that you do that first. Now, spoilers, if you're new to Arkham Horror, the card game, you have never played before, please go and play it in real life. Please go and watch introductory videos. I'm assuming you know how to play just a little bit. You don't have to be an expert. I'm certainly no expert, but I do expect that you've played a little bit. And of course, the Midnight Masks will be completely spoiled. Speaking of Midnight Masks being completely spoiled, if you want the Midnight Mask to be uber spoiled, I've done a video on every aspect of the Midnight Mask, lore story, strategy, gameplay, you name it. It's all in there. I would recommend you have a look at that, and that is also on my channel. So yes, here we are with Stella Clark in the Midnight Masks. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through her card and her abilities. We will go through upgrades. Now, I'm not going to go through every single card in her deck. If you want that, I recommend you go back to the Gathering, because every investigator starts with their official Fantasy Flight Game starter deck. And so it's not an optimized deck from that perspective, but I do go through all the cards that are in the deck. So yeah, Stella Clark, like I said, she is the letter carrier. She is traded, chosen, and civic. And if we have a look at her stat line, it's actually a little bit different to the other investigators in this group. These were all released as standalone investigators. She doesn't have a 5 in any of her stats. She does have a 4. So she has a 4 agility, which is great. That means, you know, as a survivor, she can readily evade enemies fairly easily, and so that's good. Now her strength, and her willpower are a respectable 3, which means she's okay in those things. So it means that as a, for example, solo investigator, she's pretty good because she can evade, and she also is not too bad at fighting. Her biggest weakness is her intellect at only 2. Which means that there are some issues that she may have around getting clues. But the good news is that survivors have all kinds of ways to get clues other than just straight up investigating. So it's not as terrible as it sounds, but that's probably the thing that would make her the most challenging to play as a solo person in the investigator in the game. But of course, in multiplayer, that's not an issue, and she's fairly fairly good all-rounder, I would say. Under those circumstances, she can do lots of different things, whatever's required of her at the time. So there we go, Stella Clark, that's her stat line. Now, if we have a look at her special ability, it is a reaction trigger that after you fail a skill test, you may take an additional action during your turn this round, limit once per round. So whereas failure is not an option for most, failure is absolutely an option for Stella because you actually means she gets more goes. And in fact, for the Midnight Mask, that's really helpful. So actually having her fail things, there's some great benefits. Quite a number of her cards lean into that. So failing is not as bad as it might seem. Now, of course, if you're failing, you're not succeeding, but it does mean at the very least you're getting an extra go at it. And sometimes failing can give you some additional benefits with some of the cards in the group. The most notable ones are things like the main one I'm thinking of when I'm thinking about this is Take Hard, of course. If you fail, you draw 2 cards and 2 resources. Rabbit's Foot also allows you to draw cards if you fail. So failure, and indeed Look What I Found is also a great card for failure because you take 2, you get 2 clues. So there's actually a lot of options and positive aspects here of failure. Because you can imagine that if you use Look What I Found because you fail a skill test by 2 or less while investigating, not only do you fail and get an extra go, but you discover 2 clues at your location. So in that case, there is no downside. You get the 2 clues and you get an extra go. So that's an example. So Stella Clark can really use that to her advantage, that failure. So no fear of failure with Stella Clark. Now, her Elder Sign is a +1, and you may choose to automatically fail a skill test. And if you do, heal a damage and a horror. So this is why I think she's actually really quite a good solo investigator, because her stat line's usually fairly well-rounded. She's got lots of ways to manage her lower intellect. And failure as solo can be quite disastrous, but for Stella, it can give her all kinds of advantages. So really, really good. Great investigator. So yeah, I can hear it. Can it hear me? And she has a very robust 8 physical and mental strength, so she can withstand quite a bit of punishment from the encounter deck and enemies, etc. Pretty good. So there we go. That's that. Now, if we just flip her card over and have a look. Deck size 30, and again, there's no shenanigans here with the cards. Your Survivor 0-5, neutral cards 0-5. That's it. She also has 3 copies of Neither Rain Nor Snow in her deck. Now, Neither Rain Nor Snow is a fantastic card. You've got 3 of them. It's 3 wildcard icons, so a little bit different to other kind of signature cards because often they have pips which are sort of strength or intellect, but in her case they're all wildcard. She can, if the skill test fails, cancel all effects of the failed test. So that can be particularly advantageous during the encounter phase, because the mythos phase. What am I calling encounter phase? The mythos phase, because that's often when failure can mean some kind of nasty effect. So, for example, Crypt Chill, you lose an asset. Well, if you commit Neither Rain Nor Snow to that, not only would you, if you fail, then you would cancel all the effects of the failed test, which is really great. That also means that you would get an extra action during your turn that round as well. So again, really awesome. So really good. So Neither Rain Nor Snow, you got 3 of those. So that's her signature card. Now her signature weakness is Called by the Mists, which is not too bad actually. Called by the Mists. You put it into your threat area. It's a classic, put it into the threat area, and you can take 2 actions to get rid of it. So after you initiate a skill test with a difficulty of 4 or higher, take a damage. So it's not terrible. It's not often that you're doing skill tests at 4 or higher. I mean, they do pop up, but they're obviously less frequent than other things. So it could sit there for a few turns before you decide to action it, and then it's just a case of just losing 2 actions, which in the Midnight Mask is a problem because you don't have a lot of time. But as weaknesses go, it's certainly not the end of the world. Now, her signature weakness is chronophobia. This was the random weakness that she drew in the Gathering. It's again another weakness, treachery weakness that you discard with 2 actions. This one, of course, you put this in your threat area as well. Difference is at the end of your turn, you're taking a direct horror. So you are just racking up horror. This is not one. Again, you could maybe tank it for a couple of turns if you really had to, but you really want to get rid of this as soon as possible because it's going to rack up the horror. Unless you've got someone like Peter Sylvester on board who can essentially heal the horror every time you take a horror, yeah, you don't want to be doing that. So there we go. Okay, so that's that. Just her background. Before Stella began working for the Postal Service in Arkham, she knew 2 things with certainty. First, her parents made a mistake when they called her their son and gave her a boy's name. Second, the house on the cliff in Kingsport whispered her true name, the name she chose for herself late at night. Stella delivering the mail 6 days a week in all kinds of weather wasn't an easy job, but Stella loved knowing that she was helping people connect with one another. Then she started finding the letters. At the end of her route, there was always one extra envelope in her bag. It was always addressed to her. It was always postmarked from Kingsport, and it always contained a letter with the one typed word, Stella. There we go. There we go. So that's her deck building and things and backstory. Fantastic. So if we have a look at her deck now, so as I said before, this is her standard Fantasy Flight Games deck, and I'm not going to go through all the cards. I'll just talk about the things that I've changed. Now, spoilers. She scored 6 victory points in the Gathering, which allowed her to get 6 experience points. So we didn't have a lot of experience points to manage. And I'm also, aware of the Midnight Masks and what we need to deal with. So I made some changes. The main things that I did was I added in the upgraded versions of the .18 Derringer, because the .18 Derringer is pretty good as weapons go. So the upgraded version is you spend the ammo, you fight, but you get +2 fight and you deal +1 damage. If you fail, you actually place an ammo on the 18 Derringer, and the next time you trigger this ability this round, you get an additional +1 for that attack. So that's pretty good. So it means if you do fail the first time, it's not too bad because Stella would get an extra go anyway, and then she would be able to fight even better, and she would have added an ammo. So really, really good. So I put those in. I thought that was a no-brainer. And then the only other thing I did was I couldn't put in more of these, but I put in 1 newspaper. A newspaper allows you get +2 while investigating. So it's a 1-cost asset. So you put it down on the table. It's a hand slot, but it gives you +2 intellect while investigating if you have no clues. And when you would discover 1 or more clues at your location, if you have no clues, discover an additional clue. Really, really, really good. So really helpful. So hopefully we might draw into that as well. So those are the only changes. I got rid of the old Derringers, and then I got rid of one of these. Oops. I don't know about this card. Oops. It's a bit of a strange card. It's a 2-cost event, and it's fast play after you fail a skill test by 2 or less. While attacking an enemy engaged with you, deal this attack's damage to a different enemy at your location. I'm not sure. I mean, it feels very situational. So I don't know. I'd probably use it for the fighter icons. It's double strength icons, but just the oops thing is just it's a bit of a weird card. Anyway, I took that out. That was all. Everything else was the same. I don't know. What do you think? I could have put in Drawing Thin, I guess. That's a card that's popular in Survivor decks. I could have put in Dark Horse. I could have put in extra weapons like the Fire Axe or or baseball bat or something else like that. I mean, we're a bit low on weapons, so that's going to be one of the things we'll just have to be mindful of. So don't know what you think, but there we go. Those are the upgrades. Yeah, so I had a chat to Stella in the trailer before we started. She's just standing by the house. She has her mail satchel with her, and she's all rugged up. It's a bit on the coldish side in Arkham today, but we had a chat. She's not the most confident person. She often focuses on her failures rather than her successes, and I know that's an advantage. But and she was surprised how well she did in the gathering, and I think even though she's not so confident about it, I think she'll do pretty well in the Midnight Masks, but we shall see. So while we're waiting for the horn to go off to start the game, let's just read out the agenda and the act deck. Predator or prey. Lita seems convinced of a conspiracy within the city of Arkham. She believes that a secret cult serves the ghouls that live in the crypts beneath the city, and that several of the cult's prominent members are scattered throughout Arkham. As you begin searching for them, you can't shake the feeling that you two are being hunted. Action resign. You don't want to risk taking too long, so you head to safety with the information you have gathered. And Act 1A, uncovering the conspiracy. You have one night to find the members of this cult and unveil their plan. The more members of the cult you can find and interrogate before midnight, the better. Action. The investigators spend 2 clues per investigator as a group to draw the top card of the cultist deck. Objective. Find as many unique cultist enemies as you can and add them to the victory display. If there are 6 unique cultists enemies in the victory display, advance. Note, not all 6 of them are in the cultist deck. Yes, indeed. So there we are. Okay, so we're ready to roll. We're all set up here in Octagon. Ready to start playing. And there it goes. There goes the horn. The crowd goes wild. Stella waves at the crowd, and we will see how she goes in episode 38 of season 2 of the Investigator Games. Okay, so what do we want? Well, we definitely want our gun. Is it the .18? I forget what it's called now. So we definitely want our gun if we can get it. The other thing would be to get some ways of getting clues. That would be mighty handy. Take card is also a really good card to have. They're the main things I think we'll be looking for. So let's draw 5 cards and see what we get. Well, look at that. There's the .18 Derringer, so that's good because we'll need that for the Mouse Hunter. Live and learn. That's also good if you fail something. Dumb luck. No, I think we'll leave that one out. Will to survive is good, but it's very expensive. So I'm going to take that out. Another live and learn. So I'm going to take out these 3 and draw another 3. And we get a test of will, another test of will, and a take heart. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So these are good because they're a bit like a ward of protection. You do have to test willpower though, but you know it's helpful when something nasty pops up. So there we go. So and take heart's also great when you know you're going to fail something. So I'm pretty happy with those. That's not too bad a start. There's nothing that helps me much though with getting testless clues, like look what I found, the old keyring. Those have not come up, so that's a little bit of a problem. We're going to have to manage that as we go through. So there we go. So first action for Stella. Let's go ahead and spend 2. And let's bring out the Derringer. So let's put the Derringer in our hand. So we're ready to roll with that. So that's the first thing that we'll do. Now for our second action, we will avail ourselves of the facilities here and we will draw a card and we will gain a resource. Yes. Oops, I'm not a big fan of oops, but it allows us to fight, I suppose. Yeah, because it's only if you've got more. I guess it works in solo where you know you're going to get swarmed by lots of enemies, but really it's kind of a bit of a strange card. But it's got a double fight pip on it, so that's something. So the final action, let's go ahead and investigate. Now we're investigating at a 2 versus a 2. So we're investigating 2 versus a 2. I'm going to gamble that we're going to fail this. So I'm going to bring out Take Heart. I'm actually thinking, this is how I'm thinking. I'm thinking if I use Take Heart, I'm going to succeed and get it. Because I want, I would love to fail, but of course I won't. So let's see how we go, because if we fail, we'll get an extra action as well. So we will go ahead, and we actually do fail. We fail by quite a lot. So we fail, which means we get an extra action, which is nice. Take Heart. If this test fails, draw 2 cards and gain 2 resources. So we'll draw 2 more cards, and we will gain 2 more resources. Lots of resources. So that was great. I wonder. Right. I'm thinking fast play after your skill test fail ends. Attempt that test again. So I'm thinking I might do that. I might use Live and Learn. So fast play after your skill test ends. Attempt that test again. You get +2 skill value for this test. So let's attempt the skill test again. You get +2 skill value. So that actually gives us a 4 versus a 2. Chaos Bag gives us a 3. So I still think we fail, don't we? 4 minus 3 is 1. So Live and Learn does not help. Well, that's a little bit unfortunate. But never mind. We've still got 1 action left. So what do we do with our final action? Do we try again? I don't know whether we try again. What I might do is I might spend 2 and bring out Scrapper. And part of the reason for that is that I don't want to lose my gun to Crypt Chill, and I also want Scrapper out. So I want to make sure that I've got it there. So a couple of reasons. So we might attempt this test again. That was really unfortunate that Live and Learn didn't work, but never mind. We've had some pretty nasty draws. But anyway, let's go through what we did. So first action is we brought out the Derringer, and that was all good. Second action, we availed ourselves of the facilities and drew a card and gained a resource. And then for our third action, we went ahead and investigated with Take Heart. We failed that test, which means we drew 2 cards and gained 2 resources. And then we also played Live and Learn and attempted the test again with a +2 skill value and failed again. Then we had an extra action because we failed, and we brought out Scrapper. And because we got those extra resources, we've got plenty of resources if we need to use Scrapper to evade or indeed fight, because we've got Oops here. So if we get a Acolyte, it's only 1 hit. We don't want the Doom. We've got the ability to do that. So that's not too bad. So all in all, even though we don't have a clue, we've done pretty well, I think, in the first go. So let's move into the enemy phase, or the enema phase, as I like to call it. There are no enemies or enemas to speak of, so we will move into the upkeep phase, and we get Dumb Luck. I'm getting the really weirdo cards here. Dumb Luck and Oops and things. Yeah, fail a skill test by 2 or less. Place that enemy on top of the encounter deck. I don't know about that. That's, again, I mean, it's okay, but it just puts the enemy back on the encounter deck. It doesn't sort of deal with the enemy. It just sort of delays their effect, which, can work in some situations, but I don't think it's a very popular card. Okay, let's move into the Mythos phase. The first Doom is down. I wonder what the encounter deck is going to give us. So let's have a look. And it has False Lead. If you have no clues, and I don't, it gains Surge. So there you go. So we can take that out, and we can go again. And we get Mysterious Chanting. Place 2 Doom on the nearest cultist enemy. Well, there aren't any. So search the encounter deck for a cultist enemy. Well, we'll just get we were just talking about this, weren't we? So let's search up for look at all cards. Let's find ourselves an Acolyte. Close and shuffle, and let's stick the Acolyte in Rivertown with a Doom. Yes, so there we go. There we go. So could have been worse. We could have ended up with something like a Crypt Chill. Now I could actually, thinking about it, I could have used Will to Survive. I could have used Will to Survive to do that. But the problem is you've got to test 3, and I'm running at a 3. And while I could do it, I feel like I should keep it for something a bit more disastrous, like you know, a Crypt Chill or something like that is a bit nastier. Because a Crypt Chill, you're testing 4 willpower. At least the test of will, you're testing 3 willpower. So a little bit easier. So let's, you know, and we can deal with this Acolyte, so no big deal. Okay, so I think we're into the investigation phase. 3 actions on to Stella. So what are we going to do here? Do we try and get this clue? Look, I don't... Do we... Because we're a 2 on a 2, aren't we? I like Neither Rain Nor Snow. It's a good card. Do I use it? I think I need to get clues, so I'm going to use it. So that gives us a 5 versus a 2. A 5 versus a 2. This is our first action. Let's get this clue. A 5 versus a 2. Chaos Bag gives us a -2, so we succeed. That's great. But we put another Doom on the nearest cultist enemy, and we get the clue. There we go. So we've got the clue. So second action, we will move up to Rivertown. Flip Rivertown. There's one clue here. So I should move these down a little bit. I've moved the position of the investigator because they're sort of down in the bottom, and it just felt a little bit bit low in the screen. So I think it's probably better to be up here. Don't know what you think. So here we go. We've got the Acolyte on us. Actually, I am going to move them back here. I don't think it actually matters, and I like the thread area being red. So let's just move them back to here where they usually are. And let's put the Acolyte here in the thread area. So, well, now what are we? We are a 3 fight. We can make that a 5 on a 3. We can make that a 5 on a 3. And we can make this a 6 on a 3. So let's make it a 6 on a 3. 6 on a 3, is that right? 3, 4, 5, 6 on a 3. Do we make it a 7 on a 3 just to be absolutely sure? Let's make it a 7 on a 3 just to be absolutely sure. Chaos Bag gives us a tablet, which is a -3. So we succeed and we kill the Acolyte. Dead. There we go. Okay, good stuff. So that was a much more conventional round, I think. We really committed to getting that clue at the house, and we succeeded. But we ended up putting another Doom onto the Acolyte. We then moved to Rivertown, and we engaged the Acolyte, and we killed the Acolyte. We punched the Acolyte to death. Quite a scrapper we are. So there we go. That's the end of that round. So I think next time we'll aim to get this other clue and get the first cultist out. That's going to be the name of the game. So we move into the enemy phase. No enemies or enemies to speak of. So we move into Upcreep and we get Granny. Yay! Granny's really great. So I'll definitely be bringing... And she gives us +1 willpower. So that really, really is nice. Very happy about that. It would just be nice to get something like Look What I Found, something like that. So we will move into the Mythos phase. The second Doom is down. Let's see what the encounter deck has for us. It's got another Acolyte. Ooh, Acolyte, Acolyte, Acolyte. Where do we put this Acolyte? Maybe in the graveyard. There's some easy clues there. We'll put a Doom down on that. So we will aim to go and deal with that Acolyte there. Yep. Okay. So now we'll move into the investigation phase as usual. Three actions onto Stella. What are we going to do here? Well, the first thing we're going to do is first action. We're going to bring out Granny. So we've got Granny now. So that's really nice. That means if we're going to fail a skill test, we can, by 1, it essentially allows us, which is just as well because there's a doom here. So the skulls are -1. So it kind of offsets that a little bit. Yeah. So that's our first action. Second action, let's go ahead and investigate. Now it's a 1. And we are a 2. So we're 1 up. 1 versus 2. Nothing else we can commit, so let's just go ahead and do that. So a 1 versus 2. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. We don't need Granny. We succeed. And there's the 2 clues. Very nice. I thought maybe, well, if we failed, we would have got an extra action anyway. So I think it's obvious what we're going to do for the third one. For the third action, we will spend the 2 clues and we will bring out the first cultist. Let's see who we get. Shuffle it up, and we get Wolfman Drew. Going to be a bit tough for us to take on Wolfman Drew. I mean, if we get our other Derringer and we've gotten rid of the Masked Hunter, then maybe, but I don't think we're going to take him on anytime soon at the moment. So that's a little bit disappointing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this Acolyte and get the clues in the graveyard. They're easy clues to get, and we can bring ourselves out another cultist. And then I think by that time, we're going to have to start preparing for the Masked Hunter. So there we go. That's the end of our go. So, yep, we got Granny Orn out. We got the clue at Rivertown, and we brought out Wolfman Drew. All good. Turn 3. Okay, let's move into the enema phase. There are enemies, but they're just sitting there doing nothing. This Acolyte's drinking his raspberry latte and spilling it everywhere. And Wolfman Drew's just being a crazy cannibal. Upkeep, we get another Granny. Look at all these willpower. Wow, I've got so much willpower now. Here we go. So we will move into the Mythos phase. 3 Doom. We are halfway through the first agenda. No cultists at the moment, so we need to get a move on. Let's see what the encounter deck has for us. And it's got a locked door attached to the location with the most clues. Well, luckily there are no clues out, so we'll just stick it at the house and send it to the back. That's kind of lucky that we drew that there. Then it doesn't do anything, so that was a nice draw. Most clues, yeah. I always get this one and the fog and the chilling fog, whatever it's called, obscuring fog. Because one, you put it on your location. The other one goes where there's the most clues. So there we go. That's the Mythos phase. And we are back to the investigation phase, and it's already turn 4. Let's put some actions on to Stella. Things are kind of going okay, I guess. I wish we had some cultists to focus on. I don't think we can go for Wolfman Drew. I mean, he's a 4 fight, and we are 3. Now, obviously, if we used our Derringer, we would be fine, but it's only got 3 ammo. So like I said, without some other weaponry, I'm not going to waste it. So I think the best plan of action is to move into the graveyard, take on the Acolyte, and start hoovering up the clues here. I think that's the best thing to do. So we will move into the graveyard. There we go. Now, when we move into the graveyard, though, we have to test 3. If you fail, you must take 2 horror or move to Rivertown. So we are a 4 with Granny. So 4 versus a 3. We're a 4 versus a 3. Now, we've got Granny on board. If we fail this, we actually get an extra go, which actually I don't feel too terrible about. You know, yes, we take 2 horror, but Granny can soak some, so I'm actually going to hope that we fail it. So again, we are a 4 versus a 3, so we're 1 up. Chaos Bag is a -1, so we actually succeed. I was actually kind of hoping we might fail it, but anyway, we didn't. Thanks to Granny. Thanks, Granny. So there we go. So 4 versus 3, we succeed. So second action, let's go ahead and fight this acolyte. So he's a 3 and we're a 3. So it's a 3 on a 3. So let's make that a 4 with Scrapper. So we're a 4 on a 3, right? 4 and a 3. We're only 1 up, but we've got Granny. Let's see how we go. 4 and a 3. Chaos Bag gives us a skull. Now skulls are 0 because there's no... no, sorry, skulls are -1. What am I saying? So we were 4 on a 3, 3 on a 3. So we succeed. We don't need Granny. And we kill the acolyte. Dead. There we go. Stella Clark, acolyte killer. Okay, we've got 1 action left. I think we just go ahead and we investigate. So it's a 1 versus a 2. We've got Granny on board. 1 versus a 2. Let's see what the Chaos Bag has. And it's a -1. So again, we succeed and we get a clue. Wow, that was pretty good. So we started at Rivertown. We moved into the graveyard and succeeded in terms of the willpower test, which I was kind of hoping to fail, but we succeeded. We then took on the acolyte and killed the acolyte, and then we got a clue. So next time we'll get the second clue, and we'll see where the cultist is. But I'm also mindful that we need a bit more ways to fight. We need to get our resources up because the Mars Hunter will be out shortly. So enemy phase, no enemies that are doing anything. So we move into upkeep and we get live and learn, which can be very handy. We might need that. That's good. Yep. Yes. So we will move into the Mythos phase. There are 4 doom down. We're only a couple away from the Mars Hunter. Let's see what the encounter deck has. And the encounter deck has another locked door. Okay. So this one would go here. Because that's got the most clues. So we've got a choice here. What's it going to... Oh, we basically have to fight or evade for... Actually, yeah, let's not waste our test of wills on this. Let's put that here. Send to the back. I think we can deal with that. Yep. Okay. All right. So we'll move into the investigation phase. 3 actions. On to Stella. First action, let's go ahead and pick this lock. So we are 4. We've got this dumb luck, so that gives us a 6. That's a 6, and we've got Granny. So a 6 versus a 4. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see what the Chaos Bag has. And a -1, so we succeed. That's first action. So, yep. So we've managed to pick the lock. So that was the first action. Second action, let's go ahead and get this clue. So a 1 versus a 2. Chaos Bag gives us a -3, so we actually fail. But that means we get an extra action. And it's failing by so much that we can't use Granny. Let's go ahead. I don't want to use my live and learn because I want to keep that for the Mars Hunter. Let's go ahead and do it again. Chaos Bag gives us a 0 and we get the clue. There we go. Very nice. So there we go. That was great. So and not only that, we get a victory. Yes, and the crowd goes wild. We get our first victory point. Stella waves at people in the graveyard for that. So that's something. So next time, we've got the Mars Hunter will be out next time. So we've got to be careful about spending these clues because what we don't want to happen is we spend the clues, we end up with Herman Collins in the graveyard and the Mars Hunter all at the same time, which wouldn't be good. So I think the thing is we've got to prepare ourselves for the fight and then keep the clues for afterwards. I think that's the best course of action. Okay. Enemy phase, Wolfman Drew's just chilling chilling in north side, or not north side, downtown, chilling in downtown. So we'll move into upkeep, and we get, yes, now, yeah, will to survive. Well, it's got a fight pip, but also this could be handy, but we need much more. We need many more resources if we're going to use that. Okay, that's the upkeep phase. So we move into the Mythos phase. 5 Doom down. We are 1 away from the Mars Hunter turning up. Things have been rather slow. I mean, we have 1 victory point, but we've got no cultist that we can deal with. But of course, the Mars Hunter is a cultist. Let's see what the encounter deck has for us. Hello? Ah, Crypt Chill. Here we go. I knew it was going to come. Test 4. If you fail, discard an asset. I don't want to discard any of these assets. So, yes, I am going to spend 1 and bring out the Festive Will. It is a treachery, yes, a non-weakness treachery card. Test 3. If you succeed, cancel the card's revelation effect. So we are a 4 with Granny. We are a 4 versus 3 rather than 4, so that's handy. 4 versus 3. I'll throw in the other Granny, so that gives us a 5 versus a 3. That's a 5 versus a 3. Do I do the other test of will? Yeah, I don't want to fail this, so let's make it a 6 versus a 3. Chaos Bag gives us a 0, so that was unnecessary, but we didn't want to get Crypt Chilled. So there we go. Yes, there we go. So we cancelled that card, that's right. If you succeed, cancel that card's revelation effect. Okay. And the card's revelation effect was if you fail, yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so we avoided that, but we're getting low on resources here. We are low on resources, so we need to get into the investigation phase. 3 actions onto Stella. Now, the Mars Hunter's going to be here. So we need to get ourselves prepared for that. So I'm going to draw a card. Nice, neither rain nor snow. And I'm going to take 2 resources. So we've got ways now. We'll have ways of dealing with the Mars Hunter. And we will draw another card. So that's my 3 actions. I know it's a kind of a waste, but if we're not prepared, we're not going to be able to kill the Mars Hunter properly. So there we go. Pretty straightforward, really. Drew a card, took 2 resources. Yep. So I feel like with Scrapper, with the Derringer, with neither rain nor snow, we've got a fight pip here in Will to Survive, and we've got to live and learn if we do fail something. I feel like we're in a reasonable space to do some damage. Let's see how we go. All right, so we move into the enemy phase. No enemies doing anything. So we move into upkeep, and now we get, look what I found. Okay, so that's something we can use on somewhere like Miskatonic University, but that's for another time. So yes, so that's the upkeep phase. So we move into the Mythos phase. There we go. Dooms of, yep. Let's flip this card, and there he is. Dun 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 dun. Hello, Stella. Hello. I'm gonna. Oh, hello, Granny. Hello. Oh, is that a Derringer? Maybe we could talk, about postal services and things. Anyway, there we go. So the Mars Hunter is on us. That's all very well. So we've got to bring out the next. Time is running short. The next agenda. Time is indeed running short. Yes, particularly since we have 1 victory point, but no cultists at all. Yes, so let's go ahead and draw from the encounter deck. Let's hope it's kind to us. Ah dear, what a time for a hunting night gaunt to appear. Okay, well, at least we're not relying on a machete or something, so let's move into the investigation phase. 3 actions onto Stella. We are going to stand and fight here. No messing around. We've got lots of ways to deal with all of this. So the Masked Hunter is a fight of 4, and we are a fight of 3. So we can spend one of our ammos from the 0.8 Derringer. So fight, we get +2 to that fight, so that bumps us up from a 3 to a 5. So we're 5 versus 4, we're 1 up. So we're 1 up. So I think we throw in neither rain nor snow. He doesn't have retaliate, thankfully. But so we are now a 3, 5, a 5, 8. We're an 8. We're an 8 on a 4. Is that right? 3, 4, 5, 8. 8 versus 4. So we're 4 up. So we should be okay. Chaos Bag gives us a -2, so we succeed. And because we succeed, we do 2 points of damage. Ow! Nice. Okay. Now he's not 4, he's 6, of course, so we've got to do this 3 times. All right, second action, we will go again with the Derringer. So, again, we're a 3, we're a 5 versus a 4. Let's make that a 6 versus a 4. Let's make that a 7 versus a 4. So a 7 versus a 4. We've got Granny on board as well. So a 7 versus a 4. Yep, let's go ahead and do that. We get an Elder Sign. An Elder Sign, yay! So we, now it says we can instead choose to automatically fail this skill test. We're not going to do that, but we are going to do 2 more damage to the Masked Hunter. Ow! There we go. So we're going to empty the final clip into the Masked Hunter. So again, we're 3 + 2 is 5. Let's make, should we keep that? 5, 6, 7. 7 on a 4. So the worst is -4 if it's not the auto fail. So if we get a -4, we can use Granny to bump us up. So I think we're fine. Let's see what we get. And we get a -4. So there you go. 7 - 4. That gets us to 3. 3 versus a 4. We exhaust Granny. And we succeed. Boy, wow. That was close, hey? Right. And that's another 2 points of damage. And the Masked Hunter goes down, and the crowd goes wild, and we get 2 victory points. Yay! But we've used up our Derringer. There we go. Okay. So that was great. We did three actions, and thanks to Granny, we were able to kill the Masked Hunter and get 2 victory points. So that's great. Now, in the enemy phase, we take a damage and a horror. Let's put the horror onto Granny, and let's take the damage. No biggie. Yep. And then in the upkeep phase, everything goes back to the way it was. Yep. And we draw the old key ring. So now we're getting our clue things happening, which is good. I wish I'd had them earlier though, but anyway. And then we move into the Mythos phase. The first doom of the second agenda is down. Let's see what the encounter deck has. And it's got an obscuring fog attached to your location. No biggie. Okay, we've had quite a few of these, haven't we? With locked doors and obscuring fogs. Okay, so there we go. So we are back on the investigation phase. 3 actions on to Stella. Here we go. So what are we going to do? Well, obviously, killing the hunting Nightgaunt is not really an option for us, but evading definitely is. So I think we go ahead and evade. We get to Rivertown and bring out the next cultist, because we don't want to be on a location where the cultist is. We need to know who they are and what we need to do. And then we're just going to have to evade this guy as much as we can. So let's go ahead. It's a 1 versus a 4. So we're 3 up. Do I put in Will to Survive? I want to keep that at the moment. Oh, I could also throw in... Yeah, do we need resources? It would be nice to... Let's just go ahead and see if we get it. If we don't, we get an extraction anyway. We get a 0, so we succeed. So the Hunting Night Gaunt is evaded. That was our first action. I haven't had that many failed things, actually. I think there was one at the beginning, but apart from that, we've been pretty lucky, he says. Then we will move into Rivertown, back into Rivertown. That's our second action. And then third action, let's spend our 2 clues. Let's get another cultist out. Let's shuffle up. Who do we get? Peter Warren. Okay, so... yeah. I mean, what we can do is just tank a bit of damage from Peter Warren, get the clues, and then spend them. I think that's the most efficient way to do it. I mean, he does a point of damage, but, you know, no biggie. Because otherwise we'll be kind of messing around trying to get clues from other places. I mean, we could go to South Side. I think that's got 1 clue. I think it's worth taking a damage if we can fail by 2 or less, which we... It's a 4, isn't it? And I'm a 2. Ooh. But then we got Live and Learn, so we could... Between the 2 of them, but then that would only give us 1 clue. So maybe, actually, come to think of it, it's a bit of a risk trying to use Look What I Found. So I'm thinking maybe we gather some clues somewhere else, and then go to Peter Warren. The other way would be to fight Peter Warren, but that's going to take quite a bit of time. So yeah, this would be great actually to use with Look What I Found, but very expensive because you wouldn't draw. You would be you'd fail by 2, but the problem is it costs too much money to do it. Okay, so I think we're going to go around the houses to get to Peter Warren because yeah, I just think because it's a 4... Oh, actually, the old keyring. If we have the old keyring out, we reduce the shroud by 2, and then we fail it. That's probably the way to do it. That would be the way to do it. Why don't we try that? Okay. Anyway, we move into the enemy phase. There are enemies, but they're not doing anything. Upkeep, the Hunting Night Gaunt is back. We get the Rabbit's Foot, which is a nice card to have if you fail. Problem is just the actions of taking time to get it out and things, which is the problem. And we don't have time because we need to move on from the Hunting Night Gaunt. Anyway, before we do all of that, we've got the Mythos phase. 2 Doom are already down in the second one. Let's see what the encounter deck has. Oh no, that's bad. Any empty location. Oh boy. That really speeds things up because... Oh, Doom on here. Again, fighting the Wizard of the Order with a fight of 4. Oh, boy. That's really going to speed things up. Look, if we had the Derringer, I'd go and kill him, but I don't. So I'm a fight of 3. I've got Scrapper. So we would have to succeed twice. The problem is if we don't, this is just gonna ramp up really fast. So we've got a choice here. We either let it ramp up and we we just get Peter Warren and then try and get something else. Or maybe I shouldn't put him here then if we're going to fight him, put him here. Or we go and fight the Wizard of the Order and get rid of him. I think we should try and get rid of him even so. He's only got 2 life. We've just got to, yeah. What an awful card to get. Okay. Let's move into the investigation phase. 3 actions on to Stella. So the first action, we are going to move down to Southside. Yeah, there's only 1 clue here. We can draw 3 cards, which is nice. So the Wizard of the Order is now engaged with us. Second action, we're going to fight the Wizard of the Order. So we are a 3. We can make that a 4. We can make that a 5. We can make that a 5 on a 4. 5 on a 4. There's no, yeah, -1, 5 on a 4. And we've got Granny. So let's go ahead and do 5 on a 4. Chaos Bag gives us a -2. So we can exhaust Granny. And we can succeed. So that's 5. That was right, wasn't it? 3, 4, 5. 5 on a 4. -2, -1. Yes, but another doom on the nearest cultist enemy. So he gets another doom as well. But we do 1 point of damage. Okay. And we will go ahead again and we will fight him again. So, yep. So that's 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 5. So 3, 4, 5. 5 on a 4 again. But we don't have Granny this time. But we do have Live and Learn. Let's see how we go. We get an auto fail. So we definitely fail. We get an extra action because we fail. And we will bring out Live and Learn. Attempt the test again. But we get a +2 to our skill value. So we are a 3. We don't have any more money. So we're just a 5. We're a 5 on a 4. Let's do it. We just missed by 1. 5 on a 4, -2. So we fail, unfortunately. But we got 1 damage in. So hopefully next time we can finish him off. So we move into the enemy phase. We take a damage. No biggie. We move into the upkeep. We get another scrapper. Well, that's good because it's got a fight pip. And we've got Granny back. So I think we'll finish him off this time pretty easily. So we'll move into the Mythos phase. Now, there is now 3 Doom. This will have, I'll put it on now, but it's actually at the end of the Mythos phase. So there's now, there'll be 6 Doom. So we really need to get rid of him. Let's see what the encounter deck has. And the encounter deck, oh no. Wings of Darkness. Oh boy, it's all happening. Wings of Darkness. Now, if we fail, look, it's not the end of the world if we fail, to be honest, because I don't want to spend the resources because I want to fight. So I'm just going to, and I don't want to spend, I want to commit scrapper. So if we fail, we fail. Let's see what the, and we get an extra go. So actually it's not too bad. We get an Elder Sign when I want to fail something. So we get a +1. Now we can, I think we succeed. So that's gone. So we don't get carried away. So there we go. 2 Elder Signs. We've done pretty well with those. Okay, so let's move into the investigation phase. 3 actions onto Stella. So here we are. And what are we? 3. Well, time is running on. We've really got to get these clues and things, don't we? But we've just got to get rid of this Wizard of the Order. We can get at least Peter Warren. That'll give us 2, 3, 4 victory points, which is not bad. That's pretty good. Let's see how we go. So the first thing we're going to do is let's just kill this guy. So we are a 3. We can make that a 4. We can make that a 5. We can make that a 5 versus a 4, and we've got Granny. And let's see what the Chaos Bag has. 0. So we succeed, and we kill the Wizard of the Order. Dead. There we go. Whew. Okay, so that was the first action. Now, I think... you see, I don't want to use Look What I Found because there's only one clue here. I think there's 2 clues at St. Mary's Hospital from memory. You think I would know this, wouldn't you? You think I would know this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a resource and then I'm going to bring out the old key ring. Yes, I'm going to do that. Yeah. Just trying to think whether the... Actually, I've got to think about this. Did the hunting knight gaunt... Should it have moved? When did I evade the hunting knight gaunt? Exhaust the hunting knight gaunt. Upkeep, it would have come back. Mythos. Investigation. Enemy phase. Ah, no. So the hunting knight gaunt should be here. So that changes things. Sorry, I'm going to rewind that because yeah, so I forgot that I should have moved the hunting knight gaunt because in that case I wouldn't stay here. Instead, I would have moved. There's only one clue here as well. Then I would have gotten a resource, but not brought out the old key ring. Because I don't want to get caught by the hunting knight gaunt. Yeah. Whew, okay. Yep. Missed that. Okay, so there we are. So what we did in that action is we killed the Wizard of the Order. We then moved from Southside to St. Mary's Hospital, and we took a resource. All right. Then in the enemy phase, the hunting knight gaunt moves down to Southside. And then in upkeep, we get newspaper. Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, perfect. Okay. I think we can take on Peter Warren now. We're going to take a bit of damage if we do this, but I think it's going to be worth it. We can tank a bit of damage. Okay, anyway, let's see what happens in the Mythos phase. There's 4 of 8, so we're halfway through. Let's see what the encounter deck... Oh, you are kidding me. Another hunting knight gaunt. Oh my goodness. It's never ending. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, let's move into investigation phase. 3 actions. All I want to do is get 2 clues and get Peter Warren and just keep getting stymied. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just going to evade this hunting knight gaunt. First action. Yep. +1, so we succeed. So we've evaded the hunting knight gaunt. That's the first thing. Second action. I'm going to bring out the newspaper. Or do we move and evade again? Maybe the best thing actually, is not to do that. Is to move and evade. Yeah, so I'm going second action, I'm going to move back to here. Third action, I'm going to evade again. -1, so that's -2. Yep, we succeed again, so we've evaded the other hunting knight gaunt. So we've evaded both. Is that helpful? Yeah, so next time we'll evade, we'll move up to Rivertown, we'll bring out the newspaper. We will get these 2 clues. It's just going to take us a couple of goes. Enemy phase, nothing happens. Upkeep, they're both back up. Discover a clue at your location. Yeah, okay, we're getting some good things here now. Okay. So we will move into the Mythos phase. 5 of 8. We're really running out of time. And another Wings of Darkness, which actually this would be helpful. If we can fail this, this would be really good. Each non-Night Gaunt enemy. Okay. Disengage. So that would come with me, I guess. But that's all right. That actually puts a bit of distance. I don't mind that. It saves me something. So, okay, let's see how we go. We get a tablet, so we get a -3. So we definitely fail. Place one of your clues on your location. I don't have any clues. So I don't disengage, so I move to a central location, take a damage and a horror. Well, we will move to this central location, but we still have the Hunting Night Gaunt on us because we don't disengage from him. Okay, so here we are. Yes, so let's assume that, I could be wrong, sorry if I am, I mean it's not a big deal anyway, but I'll assume I don't take an attack of opportunity because I didn't choose to fight or evade, I'm just being moved as part of a card effect. Okay, so let's move into the investigation phase. 3 actions on to Stella. We are now here at Rivertown, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to evade again. We are going to evade the Hunting Night Gaunt. We get this, which is a -2, which is -4. So that's a 5. So sorry, that's a 0 versus a 1. So let me just take a step back here. It's -2, which means it's a -4. Which means we go from 4 to 0, 0 versus 1, but we can exhaust Granny and we can succeed. But we do put a doom on the nearest cultist enemy. So Peter Warren gets a doom. So that was our first action. So we just managed to do that. So that was our first action. Our second action is I'm going to spend 1 and bring out the newspaper. And, yep. I'm trying to work out how I can get these clues and get Peter Warren. And for my third action, I'm going to bring out the mysterious... Oh, no, I can't bring out the mysterious raven. What am I doing? Can't do that because we've got Granny. So we've got the newspaper, +2 while investigating if you have no clues. When you discover 1 or more clues at your location, discover an additional clue. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've got 1 action left. So if I move here, then I'll get hit by this Hunting Night Gaunt. But you know what? I'm going to resign anyway. So what I'm going to do, and I'll get hit by him. So I'll take 1, I'll take 2 damage. You know what? That's fine. I'm just going to tank the damage and I'm going to get Peter Warren. Except, I'll be taking attacks of opportunity. So am I better waiting? I'm probably better waiting because then I can but then I've got to evade. Look, it's nearly the end. I'm going to move into Miskatonic University. Engage with Peter Warren. I'm just going to tank the damage because will I? No. Hold on. I'm going to take too much damage, aren't I? No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. I'm just looking at this. So, Mysterious Raven, discard Mysterious Raven, discover a clue. And this says, when you would discover one or more clues at your location, if you have no clues, discover an additional clue. So I am going to, I'm sorry, Granny, but you're going to go, and I'm going to bring out the Mysterious Raven. Right? So that's my final action. So what I'm going to do next time is evade, move in. Then I'm going to fast action, get the clues, and then get Peter Warren. That's what we're going to do. And that's all we're going to be able to do. I hope I've got enough time. Okay, enemy phase. The Hunting Knight Gaunt moves here. This one's evaded. In the upkeep phase, this Hunting Knight Gaunt comes back. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So we move into the Mythos phase 6, 7. We're 1 away from everything finishing, and I get Chronophobia. Okay. I'm going to have to just tank Chronophobia. It's a funny time for it to come, but anyway. So we'll see what the encounter deck has. Hopefully nothing too terrible. We get Crypt Chill. Actually, failing Crypt Chill would be really good. I've actually just realized that is a really good thing to fail. We want to fail Crypt Chill. So we are currently, without Granny, we're a 3 versus a 4. We're going to fail this. Chaos Bag gives us a 0, so we fail by 1. So Crypt Chill triggers. We lose the Derringer. We fail, so we get an extra action this time. Yeah. Fail a skill test, take an additional action. That's great. So we failed that. We lost our Derringer. But now we have 4 actions rather than 3. That's really good. Actually, that was really helpful. So here we go. Investigation phase, 4 actions. First action, we will evade the Hunting Knight Gaunt. Okay. So we are a 4. Versus a 1. I'm going to spend 2. So I'm going to make us a 6 versus a 1. We don't want to fail this. Chaos Bag gives us a skull, which is a -1. So we evade the Hunting Knight Gaunt. That's our first action. Our second action, we will move into Miskatonic University. Peter Warren is on us. Hello, look at my little flask. Well, I'm so smart. And so second action was to move into Miskatonic University. Now, we're going to use this super lightning fast action to discover a clue. We take a horror for it. Horror. But we discover a clue at a location. Now, this says... A newspaper says, reaction, when you would discover 1 or more clues at your location. If you have no clues, discover an additional clue. And it's not even, so we get 2 clues. I'm reading that right, I'm sure. So we get 2 clues. So this said discover a clue. This says when you discover 1 or more clues, if you have no clues, which I didn't, discover an additional clue. So we get 2 clues. And we've still got 2 actions left because that was all fast. Incredible. Third action, we will spend the 2 clues and Peter Warren goes into the victory display. And in the final action, we will resign. Yep, we will resign. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. What an ending. That was quite an ending. I didn't think we would get there, but the combination of the newspaper and the Mysterious Raven, we got there, and we managed to get Peter Warren before the Mythos ticked over. So, I mean, we had an extra go, but I'm not sure we would have been able to do anything very much, unfortunately, in terms of cultists. I also, crowd went wild, of course, but also Miskatonic University, we also get a victory point. So we ended up with 2, 3, 4, 5 victory points by turn 13. That's not a bad effort for Stella. She did really well. Things were slow to start off. We had a lot of acolytes to kill. We managed to kill the Mars Hunter because we had our Derringer. We had also the Wizard of the Order, which really, really slowed things up as well. And then we ended up with 2 Night Gaunts running around after us. So all in all, to get 5 victory points, I think was no mean effort. I think Stella is a real survivor, as they say, a real fighter. I think she did really, really well. So that was great. Really enjoyed that. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Now, next time, we will be moving from the standalone investigators to the Innsmouth conspiracy investigators. Starting with, of course, Sister Mary, who blesses everything in sight, and we will see how she goes. But until then, thank you very much for watching. I'm Krabby Terror 8, and goodbye.